The vast expanse of space seemed to hold its breath as the alien vessel approached Earth's orbital region. Commander Eugenia stood perfectly still in the central command center, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display that showed the massive ship's silhouette. Massive electromagnetic signals began pulsing through communication arrays. The alien craft, a metallic behemoth shaped like an elongated teardrop, slowly rotated to reveal its most intimidating side. Its surface gleamed with technologies that seemed beyond human comprehension. Kim Dae-won, the senior communication specialist, leaned closer to his console. "Incoming transmission," he announced, his voice steady despite the tension filling the room. The main screen flickered, and an alien figure materialized. Krell Vondran, the alien commander, looked somewhat humanoid but with distinct differences. His skin appeared metallic, with intricate patterns that seemed to move and shift like living circuitry. Multiple eyes, 4 in total, blinked independently, each one a different color and seemingly capable of scanning multiple dimensions simultaneously. "Humans of Earth," the alien's voice resonated with a strange mechanical undertone. "Your civilization has been evaluated. Your technological progress is considered insufficient. Surrender is your only logical option." Inside the command center, a subtle tension grew. Military personnel exchanged quick glances, their hands hovering near communication devices. Commander Eugenia remained perfectly composed, her posture suggesting neither fear nor submission. Park Sung-ho, the chief scientific advisor, whispered something to a nearby technician. Data streams began rapidly scrolling across secondary screens, analyzing every fragment of the alien transmission. The alien commander continued his proclamation. "We have studied your planet's history. Your species demonstrates potential for conflict but lacks the advanced technological capabilities required for interstellar negotiation. Your surrender is not a request. It is a certainty." Commander Gina stepped forward, her movements calculated and deliberate. She activated a small communication device on her uniform, which projected a holographic representation of Earth, not as a vulnerable planet, but as a complex, interconnected system of technological and biological networks. "We hear your statement," she responded, her voice clear and direct. "But hearing is not the same as understanding." Krell Vondran's multiple eyes narrowed, the circuitry-like patterns on his skin becoming more agitated. He clearly did not expect such a calm, measured response. The room around Gina buzzed with quiet activity. Technicians worked silently, collecting data, running complex algorithms, and preparing potential response strategies. Each movement was precise, each action calculated. Outside the command center, military units were already mobilizing, not with panic or aggression, but with a systematic, organized approach that suggested preparation rather than fear. "Your technology is primitive," the alien commander stated again, this time with a hint of what might have been frustration. "Your defensive capabilities are minimal compared to our collective." Commander Eugenia allowed a slight smile to cross her face. It was not a smile of arrogance, but of quiet confidence. "Technology can be learned," she responded. "Determination cannot be taught." The transmission continued, with the alien making various claims about human insufficiency. But within the command center, something else was happening. Park Sung-ho was already decoding transmission protocols, Kim Dae-won was mapping communication frequencies, and various teams were analyzing every single piece of data streaming in. Humanity was listening. But more importantly, humanity was learning. As the alien vessel maintained its position, hovering ominously above Earth, no one in the command center showed any sign of surrender. Instead, there was a sense of anticipation, as if this moment was just the beginning of something much larger. Commander Eugenia's final words to the alien transmission were simple, direct, and would become legendary in the hours and days to follow. "Understood." The research facility hummed with intense activity. Computers blinked, screens flickered, and scientists worked with a focus that bordered on obsession. Park Sung-ho stood at the center of this technological storm, his fingers moving rapidly across multiple holographic interfaces. Alien technology lay scattered across specialized examination tables. What looked like complex machinery to the aliens was now becoming a puzzle for human researchers. Each component was carefully dismantled, analyzed, and understood. "We have approximately 72 hours, Sung-ho told his team. His voice was calm, but everyone understood the urgency. The alien transmission had been both a threat and a challenge. Young researchers worked in perfect sync. Some analyzed communication protocols, others studied energy signatures, and a few worked on decoding the strange quantum frequencies the alien ship had transmitted. The room felt electric with possibility. Kim Min-ji, a brilliant quantum physicist, discovered something unexpected. The alien communication system wasn't just a technology. It was almost like a living network. She realized humans could not just copy the technology, but could potentially reimagine it. "Look at this," she called to Sung-ho, pointing at a holographic representation of an alien communication circuit. "Their technology doesn't just transmit information, it adapts." Sung-ho leaned closer. The circuit seemed to pulse and change, almost like a living organism. Traditional human understanding of technology suggested fixed systems, but this was different. This technology could learn, adjust, and respond. In another section of the facility, military technicians began integrating the initial research findings into defensive systems. They weren't just copying alien technology. They were understanding its fundamental principles and then creating something uniquely human. Commander Yu Jina visited the research center periodically. She didn't interrupt. She simply observed, her presence both a motivation and a reminder of the high stakes involved. The alien vessel still hovered above Earth, a constant reminder of the potential threat. But inside this research facility, something remarkable was happening. Humans were transforming a potential invasion into an opportunity for unprecedented technological leap. Sung-ho's team worked in shifts. When one group became tired, another took over. They shared information instantly, collaborated across different scientific disciplines, and maintained a level of focus that was distinctly human. "We're not just defending," Sung-ho explained to his team during a brief meeting. "We're learning. Every piece of alien technology is a lesson." They discovered that alien communication systems used quantum entanglement in ways humans had only theorized. Their energy transmission techniques suggested methods of information transfer that could revolutionize human technology. Minji developed a breakthrough method of translating alien quantum frequencies. It wasn't about direct translation, but understanding the underlying principles of communication. She was essentially creating a new language of technological understanding. Military strategists watched the research with keen interest. If these technologies could be integrated into defensive systems, humanity's response to the alien threat would be dramatically different from what the aliens expected. The facility worked around the clock. Coffee machines never stopped. Computer systems continuously processed data, and the energy of discovery kept everyone alert and motivated. Outside, the alien ship remained a silent, threatening presence. But inside this research center, humanity was preparing its response. Not with weapons of destruction, but with the most powerful tool they possessed: intelligence and adaptability. Sung-ho looked at the dismantled alien technology. What seemed incomprehensible just days ago was now becoming a roadmap to unprecedented technological advancement. "We will be ready," he muttered to himself. The alien invasion had intended to demonstrate human weakness. Instead, it was revealing human potential. Every circuit, every quantum frequency, every mysterious technological component was becoming a lesson. Humanity was not just surviving, it was preparing to transform. As night fell and the alien ship continued its silent vigil, the research facility continued its work. Lights burned bright, computers hummed, and the future was being written, not with fear, but with an unbreakable spirit of discovery and determination. The first alien assault wave approached Earth with complete confidence. They expected total surrender, a quick submission of a supposedly inferior species. What they encountered was something entirely different. Kim Dae-won had transformed military strategy into a fluid, adaptive network. Human defense systems were no longer fixed points of resistance but living, breathing networks that could shift, blend, and disappear instantly. The alien ships descended, their massive weapons charging with destructive energy. Satellite tracking systems showed their precise approach patterns. But instead of a static defense, something unexpected happened. Human military units moved like liquid mercury. When the aliens targeted one location, the defenders would simply vanish, reappearing in completely different strategic positions. Traditional warfare meant nothing here. Commander Yu Jina watched the battle unfold from the central command center. Her fingers moved across holographic displays, coordinating multiple defense zones with remarkable precision. Each movement was calculated, each decision immediate. The alien commander, Krell Vondran, became visibly frustrated. His advanced combat systems couldn't predict human movement patterns. Where traditional military forces would stand and fight, these humans seemed to flow around threats like water. Small tactical units used terrain to their advantage. Urban environments became complex labyrinths where conventional military power meant nothing. Drones, ground units, and specialized teams worked in perfect synchronization. One alien assault group targeted a major city, expecting quick destruction. Instead, they found elaborate decoy systems, underground network tunnels, and defense mechanisms that seemed to anticipate their every move. Park Sung-ho's technological innovations played a crucial role. The communication systems developed earlier now allowed instantaneous coordination between different military units. Information moved faster than the aliens could process. Electronic warfare became a primary strategy. Human teams didn't just defend. They disrupted alien communication networks, created false signals, and turned the invaders' technological advantages against them. Military vehicles weren't just machines. They became adaptive platforms that could change appearance, signal patterns, and operational capabilities within seconds. The aliens found themselves fighting an enemy that constantly transformed. Specialized units used terrain, weather, and local environments as additional defense mechanisms. Mountains became fortresses, urban landscapes turned into complex battlegrounds, and every piece of ground became a potential trap. Krell Vondran's frustration grew with each failed assault. His multiple eyes scanned tactical displays that made less and less sense. Human resistance wasn't just unexpected, it was fundamentally incomprehensible to their military doctrine. "They cannot be predicted," one alien tactical officer reported, his voice carrying a hint of fear. "Their response systems defy all known combat algorithms." Commander Yu Jina understood something profound. Resistance wasn't about fighting harder, but fighting smarter. Each defensive action was a message. Humanity would not be easily conquered. The battle became less about physical combat and more about psychological warfare. Human units didn't just defend territory, they challenged the very concept of invasion. Drone networks created complex illusion systems. What looked like a massive military concentration would suddenly dissolve, while actual defense units would emerge from completely unexpected locations. Communication between human units happened through encrypted, rapidly changing networks that the aliens couldn't easily track or understand. Every communication was a puzzle, every movement a potential misdirection. As the first assault wave retreated, something became clear. This was not a traditional conflict. This was a demonstration of human adaptability, technological innovation, and an unbreakable spirit of resistance. The aliens had expected a simple invasion. Instead, they found a complex adaptive species that transformed challenges into opportunities. Krell Vondran watched his tactical displays in complete disbelief. Humanity was not just resisting, it was rewriting the very rules of conflict. The psychological battle began long before physical weapons were deployed. Humans understood something profound about conflict that the aliens had never anticipated. The most powerful weapon was the mind. Kim Dae-won developed communication strategies that turned alien transmission channels into complex labyrinths of confusion. Each message sent was a carefully constructed puzzle, designed to challenge the aliens' understanding of human behavior. Commander Yu Jin-ah knew that true warfare wasn't about destruction. It was about making the enemy question everything they believed. Her team started broadcasting carefully designed signals that seemed random, but carried deep psychological implications. Alien communication networks began experiencing strange disruptions. Messages would fragment, redirect, and sometimes appear to come from multiple sources simultaneously. The Zornak leadership found themselves drowning in information that made less and less sense. Park Sung-ho's research team discovered something extraordinary about alien psychology. The Zornak valued predictability above all else. Their entire civilization was built on precise calculations and predetermined outcomes. Humans were anything but predictable. Strategic misinformation became a primary weapon. Human teams would intentionally leak partially true information, creating scenarios that kept the alien leadership in a constant state of uncertainty. Every piece of intelligence became a potential trap. Cultural recordings were broadcast alongside military communications. Alien systems would receive complex human art, music, and emotional expressions that completely defied their logical understanding. These transmissions were calculated to create psychological dissonance. One particularly brilliant strategy involved broadcasting human entertainment media. Alien intelligence systems struggled to process the complexity of human emotions, the unpredictability of artistic expression, and the nuanced communication styles. Krell Vondran watched in growing frustration as his advanced analytical systems failed to comprehend human communication patterns. What seemed like chaos to the aliens was actually a carefully designed psychological strategy. Holographic projections created by human teams would appear and disappear, showing military concentrations that didn't exist. Drone networks generated false movement patterns. Every technological system became a potential tool of psychological manipulation. The aliens began to experience something they had never encountered before: doubt. Their rigid hierarchical system couldn't process the fluid, adaptive nature of human communication and strategic thinking. Military units used sound and light frequencies that played with alien perception. Some transmissions contained subtle psychological triggers designed to create confusion and uncertainty. The line between communication and psychological warfare became blurred. Human teams understood a fundamental truth: the most effective warfare happens in the mind. Physical battles were secondary to the psychological landscape they were creating. Communication channels became battlegrounds of interpretation. Each transmission was a carefully constructed piece of a larger psychological puzzle. The aliens found themselves trying to understand an enemy that seemed to exist in multiple realities simultaneously. Cultural diversity became a weapon. The aliens had expected a unified, predictable species. Instead, they encountered a complex civilization with multiple perspectives, unpredictable responses, and an ability to adapt instantly. Day One's team created communication algorithms that mimicked human emotional complexity. They weren't just sending messages, they were creating entire psychological landscapes that challenged alien understanding. Theo. Zornak leadership began to experience something close to fear. Their advanced technological systems, designed for precise calculation, began to fail when confronted with human unpredictability. Commander Yu Jin-ah watched the psychological battle unfold with calm precision. Each strategy was a carefully placed piece in a complex psychological chess game. The humans weren't just defending, they were rewriting the rules of conflict. As the psychological warfare intensified, something remarkable happened. The aliens began to recognize that they were facing an opponent unlike any they had encountered before. Humanity wasn't just a species to be conquered. It was a complex, adaptive civilization that defied all previous understanding. The battle was happening in transmission waves, in perception, in the complex landscape of communication and understanding, and humanity was winning in ways the aliens could never have predicted. The final confrontation wasn't about destruction. It was a moment of profound understanding. Commander Yu Jin-ah stood in the massive international conference chamber. Alien. Representatives surrounded her, their metallic skin reflecting the intense lighting. The room felt charged with an energy that spoke of potential transformation rather than conflict. Krell Vondran, the alien leader, looked different. His multiple eyes no longer projected superiority, but a strange mix of respect and curiosity. The human resistance had fundamentally changed everything he understood about conquest. "We did not expect this," Vondran admitted, his mechanical voice carrying a hint of emotion humans had never heard before. The statement wasn't a weakness, but an acknowledgement of a profound truth. Park Sung-ho had prepared a presentation that was more than just a technological showcase. It was a demonstration of human potential, a journey through human innovation, cultural complexity, and adaptive capabilities. Holographic displays showed humanity's journey. From primitive tools to quantum computing, from local conflicts to global cooperation, the presentation revealed a species defined by its ability to transform challenges into opportunities. The alien representatives watched in collective silence. Each image revealed layers of human complexity they had never anticipated. Humanity wasn't just a species to be conquered. It was a civilization capable of remarkable evolution. Kim Dae-won had prepared the communication protocols. Every transmission, every interaction was designed to demonstrate human willingness to cooperate while maintaining their fundamental identity. The presentation wasn't about human superiority. It was about potential. Humanity showed the aliens that strength wasn't about domination, but about adaptability, creativity, and the capacity to understand. Military achievements were presented alongside scientific discoveries, artistic expressions, and moments of global compassion. The aliens saw a species that could fight fiercely but also heal, create, and imagine. Commander Yu Jina's final statement was simple but profound. "We choose cooperation," she said. "Not because we must, but because we can." The room fell silent. The alien representatives processed this statement through complex analytical systems. Cooperation wasn't a concept they had easily understood before this moment. Technological exchanges began to happen, not through force, but through mutual understanding. Human researchers and alien scientists started sharing knowledge, discovering that learning could be a collaborative process. Vondran realized something fundamental had changed. The invasion was no longer relevant. What mattered was the potential for mutual understanding. Cultural exchange programs were proposed. Humans would learn alien technologies and aliens would study human creativity. The boundaries between species began to blur. The transformation wasn't just technological or military. It was philosophical. Humanity had demonstrated that survival wasn't about defeating an enemy, but about understanding them. Scientific teams from both civilizations began working together. Quantum research, space exploration, and technological innovation became shared goals rather than competitive endeavors. Communication systems developed during the conflict now became bridges of understanding. What was once a weapon of psychological warfare transformed into a tool of diplomatic connection. The alien ships that once threatened Earth now became collaborative research platforms. Joint missions were planned, combining human creativity with alien technological precision. Commander Yu Jina watched these developments with a calm understanding. The real victory wasn't in defeating the aliens, but in changing the fundamental nature of their interaction. Humanity had not just survived an invasion. They had transformed a potential destruction into an opportunity for growth, understanding, and collective progress. The final moment of the conference came when Krell Vondran extended what passed for a hand in alien biology towards Yu Jina. It was a gesture of respect, of acknowledgement. "We misjudged you," Vondran stated simply. Yu Jina's response captured the essence of human potential. "We are always learning." The transformation was complete. Humanity had not just survived, they had redefined the very concept of first contact.